Hey friends, it's Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. I wanted to take just a few minutes to film a video today about a journal that doesn't necessarily have to have photos. I know in my journals that I work in and that I do my process videos on, I have a lot of photos. And I don't want people to think that that's the only way that you can journal or you can keep track of memories. This was a journal that I made back in 2013, 2014. It was a binder that I found at a thrift store. The binder was Animal Facts on File, and I actually bought this when I first started teaching. It was a binder where you would each month get little inserts about different animals. So you can find these binders quite a bit at thrift stores. I think I've found probably 4 or 5 just in the last couple of years. So I took this and I just covered it with scrapbook paper, and then I went around the edges with some paint and some glaze. And then this right here was a necklace that one of my students, that is just one of those students that stays in your mind for years after you have them. One of my students gave me this as a necklace, but the necklace broke. So I thought it would look really pretty on the front of this cover. So in here, this is just some scrapbook paper, so you can't even tell that this was an old binder. But what I did with this binder was I just kind of made it a collage binder. It was all bits and pieces that I have and just a lot of writing, and not paragraph and sentence writing. A lot of it is just lists, because that's kind of the way I write. So I wanted to show this to you because I want you to see that journaling can be whatever you want it to be. And if you don't have photos, or if you don't print your photos off, you can still journal. You can still convey the message you're trying to convey. You can still tell your stories. You just are going to do it in a different way. And so in this video, I want you to see if by the end of the journal flip through, if you can figure out what my current obsession was at this time period back in 2014. So this was just, I was going to keep track of my expenses that this was the beginning of the new year, and I just kind of wanted to keep track of how much I was spending, because I felt like I was spending way too much money, especially on art supplies. So in this journal, I love weather, and this was a time period where we were having, we had a series of really strong winters and a lot of strong winter storms. And so I kept track of the winter, and I kept track of the storms and the storm names that we had that year. So a lot of this is weather centered. And I'll have things about the weather. I'll tell like what it was like what the temperature was, if we had any precipitation. I'm kind of a weather geek, so that's something that I always like to include in my journals. So one of the things you'll notice is that I'm in this particular journal, I'm in Christmas. I'm in the holiday season. And so this is actually kind of cool because you can record your memories of important holidays and events, and you don't have to have photos. So this was me recording all of the things that happened during Christmas that year. And I didn't have photos. Actually, there's a photo right there, but this is a Polaroid, so this was one that I just had readily available. This is kind of silly. I found my old diary like when I was a little kid, probably 9-10 years old, and this sticker was on there. It said, "Don't look." And I pulled that sticker off my diary and stuck it on here. I thought that was kind of cool. So you can see I used the index pages from Better Homes and Gardens. It looks like a garden journal. And then some of the other pages were just the actual pages from a binder garden journal. So I just used the papers that I already had. So in addition to the weather, I'm obsessed with the moon. So this was kind of cool. I didn't remember I did this. This was when I first started documenting the moon by making a collage of it and not using actual pictures of the moon. This was a very sad day because there was a scrapbooking store here in the United States called Archivers, and oh my gosh, it was Disneyland. It was awesome. And this is where a lot of my money would go, because in my scrapbooking days, this is the place where you could find all the cool papers, not just the stock stuff that like Michael's has. And they closed, and I remember spending the last of my Christmas money for my final purchase at Archivers, and I was really sad, and I missed that store. I missed that store. Comment below if you remember Archivers, if you ever went to Archivers. They were a little pricey, but they had the best selection. So one of the pages I created for this journal was a weather log. This was 2013 through 2014, and I just kept track of whenever we would have storms come through, and just kept track of the precipitation and the temperature that we had. Uh-oh, got some stickers that came off. This was just a random memory that I had. It wasn't at this time period. This was back in 2004, but I found this picture one day, and I know I've already scrapbooked it, but this was just one of those things that if I find a random picture on my desk and I'll be like, oh, that memory, I remember that, I'll put it in another journal. It's okay to put memories in more than one journal, and so this was one of those memories. Okay, so we're at the end here. Did you figure out what my obsession was? Oh, this is why I glue washi tape. It doesn't stick, so I'll need to glue that. Did you figure out what my obsession was in this? Almost every one of these had a paper doll clothing, or a paper doll. And yeah, that was my obsession. I was big on paper dolls during this time period, and I had a box of paper doll clothes, and I just in each one of the collages, if I could sneak it in, I would sneak in something that had to do with a paper doll. And yeah, loved it. Okay guys, so there you go. There's some inspiration for your Wednesday, and I challenge you today to do something creative. Do something in your journal, and try to convey the message without a picture. Try to convey the message with words or pictures or colors or images other than a photograph. And then post in the comments below how it went for you. Share it on Instagram, and yeah, have a great rest of the day. I totally appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you like this, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and have a beautiful day. Bye.